The latest on a shooting involving an Austin police officer and a suspected drunk driver. We're getting a briefing now from the Austin Police Interim Chief Brian Manley.
When he opened the door, the suspect at that point reversed the car, drove backwards, knocking the officer down on the ground and underneath his vehicle. At this point, the backup officer saw the first officer get knocked down and go under the vehicle, and at that point he used lethal force, firing his duty weapon at the driver of that vehicle in an attempt to stop him from driving. Although the vehicle was struck, the driver was not. He then pulled out of the cul-de-sac and fled the scene of this incident, involved in another pursuit with multiple officers from the department. This pursuit then traveled up Springdale Road and ended up in the neighborhood off of Rogge and coming to a conclusion up in the 5200 block. At that point, during the pursuit, we did use spike strips to try and disable the vehicle. And again, the pursuit ended up off of Loyola in about the 5200 block. The suspect at that point was taken into custody. At this point, the suspect is under arrest for warrants that he had out of Pflugerville, and he was wanted for leaving the scene of a collision in Pflugerville. We have also placed him under arrest for DWI, and we have ongoing investigation behind us for the assault on the officer that took place. Our officer that was struck by the vehicle is a 19-year veteran of the department. He was taken to the hospital where he was treated and released. Our officer that fired his weapon is a 4-year officer with the department, and he will be placed on administrative leave, as is our customary practice, while we investigate this incident. This incident will be investigated by the police department's Internal Affairs Division, with oversight from the police monitor's office to ensure that it was compliant with policy. And the district attorney's office is here as well, conducting an investigation along with our special investigations unit for criminal compliance with the conduct of our officers as well. So that's where we're at with the case right now. The suspect, as I said, is under arrest. He's a 25-year-old Hispanic male, and we will identify him at a later time. With that, if there are any questions, I'll take them now.
Did you say what the warrants in Pflugerville were for?
Yes, they were leaving the scene of a collision warrants.
And I was unclear when the pursuit continued after the gunshot. Was that in car or on foot?
That was in his vehicle. So he actually pulled out of Mark Circle back here and then took off in his vehicle again. And we had another pursuit that lasted, I believe, six or so minutes before we were able to get him into custody.
Spike strips were used for that, you said?
Yes, we did use spike strips to stop the vehicle.
Can you give any more information about the condition of the officer?
The officer was treated and released at the hospital for injuries he received when he was both knocked over and dragged under the vehicle. Not
run over with the vehicle, correct?
We do not believe at this time that he was run over. We're fortunate in that the injuries were not more substantial given the acts that took place here today. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
And that was Interim Police Chief Brian Manley with the Austin Police Department. If you're just joining us at 5:16 and we joined that press conference in progress, what we can tell you is what you missed is that this started off with police officers in East Austin around Airport Boulevard, 12:38 this morning, spotted a driver who they thought may be under the influence, tried to pull over this driver, but the driver just kept on going about 85 miles per hour from Airport, ended up in the Springdale Loyola area. And Amanda's putting together a map to give you an idea of how long this chase was. But when it ended, what happened is that the police officer somehow, when he got out, ended up underneath the suspect's car because the suspect knocked him over, didn't run him over, but the other officer who was with that police officer ended up shooting the driver. The driver, we're told, is okay. The police officer who was knocked down by that driver was treated at the Brackenridge Hospital and is okay, treated and released. And the driver we know is a 25-year-old Hispanic man out of Pflugerville who had a warrant for leaving the scene of a crash. So we're going to check in with Alicia Inns coming up in the next few minutes for more information about what she's gathering of the crime scene now of an officer-involved shooting.